Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick recap for today. I made a couple of trades today. Pretty simple day so far. Three trades overall, two on the Russell and one on the dollar yen. And I wanted to highlight the one that I made on the dollar yen first because it really focuses around pre-planning your trades. Now, it's no secret that I pre-plan my trades. I show that pretty often. You can see here that well in advance I had my level defined, right? This snapped out of place a little bit. These trend lines were drawn on the daily, and when I switched over to the 4-hour, they snapped off just a little bit. So I pulled those back down. But you can see that well in advance I'm waiting for a test of that trend line and a spike up to this negative 61 point completion and the resistance level that I have drawn on there. It got that negative 61.8 completion from a pretty perfect retracement there, right to the 61.8, and then it just took off. So that negative 61.8 is in play for me. That 50% retracement just above it, that was my stop loss. But because we had so much in this area, I was really expecting a strong move off the 4-hour chart. You can see that the 4-hour was ready to go down just as well as the daily was ready to roll over on stochastics. So I was ready and waiting. I got my spike up. I entered right here. It didn't quite test it perfectly, but it did get close enough to trigger an entry for me. So I ended up shorting that pretty much right at the top. I ended up getting a 114.915 entry on it. So 114.915 is right around here. That was honestly, I was in profit within 5 minutes. There was almost no drawdown on that. That was literally a sit and wait, pump to pop a trade. It was beautiful, and you could see that I'm already up roughly 90 pips on it. I left a couple on the table that would be exactly 90 pips if I had gotten the optimal entry, but I didn't quite snag it. Next up, I wanted to highlight on TF. So here we are in the hourly. I want to first go to the 4-hour and show that last night, as we were kind of approaching over right around here, the stock was ready to roll over and just hammer us with bears. So I was looking short. That was my bias. We were at the top. We were at a nice double top here, which we bounced off of pretty nicely. But I wasn't ready to just short based off of that. So last night, I had this hourly trend line drawn out from here up, and once we broke below that and then came back up, and here let me zoom in just a little bit. So we broke below that and then came back up and tested it right here. That's when I shorted right there. So once we tested it and came back down, we had resistance here, so we broke down below the resistance, came up, tested our trend line, tested our resistance, and I shorted it there. So for me, the next step is anticipating my exit. Now we had some resistance plotted out, or support plotted out right around here, and I also had my fib retracement off of this bull run up here, which lined up. So that negative 78.6, once we broke below and showed that we were going to roll down, that was my target. But what I did do was I opened with my stop up above this support or this resistance level here. As we broke down underneath this, I had that marked off. So after we broke down below this, I trailed my stop up above where I had drawn this trend line here. And then once we started to make the move down closer to news this morning and market open, I just trailed my stop right to this line here after we started to make that move. And then as we pushed down towards that 78.6, I knew that was my target, so I took my profits off at that negative 78.6. That one I got in right at 1387.80 was my entry, so you can see kind of on that retest there on that spike up, and then as we were pulling down, I took my profits off right at that. So actually sorry, I got lost for a second. Yep. So I took my profits off right there, right at that support level, right at that 78.6 retracement. And I often use those retracements after we've made the strong bull run up. I use those retracements as targets. You'll probably notice that a lot in my posts. And you can see we just shot right back up to those levels. So I ended up taking another short. That one I'll get into. So nope, that's not the right one. So for this one, I reshorted at 1397.70, and that one I shorted right there, right at that retest. Now, once we made that bull run back up, I waited to see its reaction. And I shorted it as it came back up. So we made its bull run up, tested these levels, tested the trend line, and then dropped. And then as we spiked back up, I ended up entering right there. And there was also a retracement right at that level too. So as we spiked up just past that 1397.70 level, I shorted, and then I ended up taking it off right at that resistance, or that support there. So that was another quick trade. That one ended up being just over a grand. So pretty decent day for me so far. I think I may call it. I'm not entirely sure if there are many more trades for me. I ended up missing another one that I had planned out about a week ahead of time, but there was a lot going on this morning, so I missed it. You can see that I had my sell zone targeted. I ended up having this targeted on Monday. So, 2 days ago, I was ready for this sell. It came and it just tanked, and I haven't had a great opportunity to re-enter since, but I'm not planning on it. That was the move I wanted. That's the move I got, but unfortunately I wasn't there to catch it. But oh well, you can't catch them all. As always, let me know if you have any